And we are back. Black and a Half, episode number 111. It's the same both ways. It's just, it's an anagram.
Look at that.
It's an anagram. Is that it? No, not an anagram. 111. One is in a mirror, right?
Yeah.
I'm Silas.
Like red rum, except for not.
This is Black and a Half. I am Silas Lindenstein, and this is
Samantha Rund.
Yes, and we're your hosts for this for Seattle's longest running comedy podcast. Probably. We are joined today by a wonderful filmmaker, creator, storyteller of in the Pacific Northwest here, Mr. Aaron Carlson. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, my friend.
All right, he's got the his latest movie is the Outrider. And that is available on Amazon Prime. You can check it out there. You can go to Amazon and buy it. You can buy it if you want to support people. Like, just buy it. Or watch it like 50 times in a row.
Correct.
We need a way to do that where we can just say, hit repeat, right? No, on Spotify, I can make a playlist and just keep playing over and over again, right? So we need a way to do that with video so that we can get that going. Someone create that hack. Okay. Yeah, so it's there. And so check that out. This is a fun episode. We talk about we have our hot topics today about Trump's Gestapo that's out. We talk about AOC. I feel like I just said air conditioning. No. Alexandria.
Just as cool though.
Yeah. Oh my God, Samantha. My God, that pun hurt. That hurt me.
You know what? Did it hurt so good? Just as cool and absolutely necessary. We really need it.
Congresswoman AOC was in the news, and we find out if discuss if dueling should come back. And Keanu Reeves is writing in comic books. We chat about that and how about the way artists can be like Renaissance people. We do the social post of the week. I review the movie Desperados on Netflix, and then we get into Aaron Carlson's origin story. Right? We get into that and find out how he became the filmmaker he is today. And today's episode is brought to you by buying a house. Buying a house in the Pacific Northwest has never been easier than going to silasgetsreal.com. And, if you're looking to buy or sell a home, go ahead and go there and or message Silas at Silas at blackandahhalf.com. Okay, just send it there, and we'll help you buy a house. And that's the way you can support this podcast, right? You can also support it by taking some acting lessons, I believe, right?
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah, so beyondtechniquecoaching.com. But my whole aim with that is I use performance techniques to help empower people, voice, body, and mind, to bring more of their whole selves to their lives and work. And actually, I'm really excited because one of my students recently commented while I was helping her on her monologue that it's helping her channel all of the sort of, pandemic angst and like big emotions that we have that we can't really let out because we're trying to keep it together and not have mid-morning breakdowns. But it's a relief to be able to put that into her character work. So even if you're not an actor, I can still help you out with that. It's a great time to use that therapeutic, but not quite therapy like thing.
And if you want to support the podcast and you don't want to buy a home right now and you don't want acting lessons, you can go to iTunes and rate this 5 stars. That helps. You can share this podcast, or you can go to our Patreon page at patreon.com/blackandahhalf, and you can become one of our patrons like Tara Widener or founding member Stephen Ward. Become one of them, and you can get a shout out on the page at the right entry point, or just throw us a couple shekels, and we'll spread the love. You're not going out anymore, so you've got a lot of money at home, right? Because you're not going out. You're just sitting there. But you need podcasts, and you need great podcasts. You need black podcasts, and you need half podcasts. So we're your answer. We're your answer for all that. I don't know. You want to say hi to anybody? Either of you? Anybody? No? Loved ones?
Hello, people.
Hello, loved ones.
I
Love you
hope
all.
one day to see you again.
Yeah.
I've been in my house for so many days. No, I'm just kidding. I'm blinking just to make sure the eyes still work. Hello. Be safe.
And so, and if you're listening to this, whatever platform you're listening to us, we also now have a YouTube channel, Black and Half Productions, where you can go and watch the episode if you want to get the visuals that's going on.
Gosh, yeah.
So if you enjoyed this once, you can enjoy it a second time over at our YouTube station, right?
That's
Try
right.
that out. Yeah. So go find it. Just go find it somewhere. I'll put it on this episode page at blackandahhalf.com. So there you go. So here we are, episode number 111, Aaron Carlson and the Art of Filmmaking.
Stand by to receive our transmission. Stand by to receive our transmission.
Do either of you enjoy painting?
I love it.
I suck at it.
Suck at it?
Yeah. Terrible. Can't do it. Can't even finger paint. I suck. So bad.
It's it does remind me of like the perspective, like you get far. This is like a life lesson, right? In painting, when you're far away, everything looks fine, and then you get up close and you see all the spots that like you dripped on, it's running there, but like it. So from the edge, it looks great, and then you get close, and you're like, okay, I'll have to come back to this because I can't handle this anymore. Like, I got to move on to the next side of the house.
Well, how did Bob Ross do it so smooth? Explain that to me.
Bob, a lot of drugs.
Drugs did it.
Yeah,
It wasn't the squirrels; it was the drugs.
Yeah, it was the relaxation. He was relaxed.
Yeah.
When you're relaxed,
Dude,
tension is the key to everything. Like it's. Get rid of stress and you're fine. That's why Samantha's so healthy. She has no stress.
Yeah, no stress in my life ever.
At all. Yeah.
Just totally zen, just so stress free.
And that's why
it's strange that I even inhabit planet Earth, just
well, it's not a very stressful time because we're post-racial society now, right?
We are.
We're post
I don't know what it's like to be a woman. So, I mean, what are those struggles all about?
We're post-COVID. It's gone. It just magically disappeared.
Poof.
And we can just go eat anywhere. So,
Sure.
It's not stressful at all.
No, it's all right.
Once I get an air conditioner, that'll be it.
You'll be golden.
I'll be die because I'll be so happy. But I like those. Well, so we're videotaping now and it's on the podcast. So I guess now I can make references to things that we're wearing. Yeah. And if somebody wants to know, they can go to the YouTube Black and a Half channel, right? And check it out. I like Samantha's shirt.
Oh, yeah.
Stop making drama. Stop making drama. You're not Shakespeare. I like that.
Thank you. Cool. I saw it and I just had to have it.
Where did you get it?
Amazon.
Amazon?
I was searching for Shakespeare swag just cause.
You could have bought my shirt. I have a shirt. I have a Shakespeare shirt.
I didn't know.
On Amazon. Yeah.
Well, thanks for making me buy it. Jeez.
It's quarantine. How else am I going to get it to you?
My birthday. You missed it anyway.
I should. Well, then I don't want to have to ask your size. It'd be awkward.
Medium.
I got some in the other room, actually. I should. It's the Shakespeare Insults t-shirt. It's all the Shakespeare insults. I got it.
Oh, man.
I'll hook you up.
Well, I forgot I was wearing this shirt when I was out doing errands earlier. And so people are just looking at me and I'm like, what? My mask was pretty cool, but I've also got these gnarly looking welts on the back of my neck from cupping the other day. You guys want to see?
Oh,
I know I'm making you
Oh, no. Yeah, do it.
Cupping is a massage.
Can you see it?
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
those are good ones.
Have you done it?
Did it hurt? No, I haven't done that at all. Did it hurt though? Because I watch all that ASMR stuff on YouTube when I go to sleep at night.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
I should have tried to get it filmed. I could have made a little like side hustle off of it, maybe.
You give views for me.
Is that an ASMR thing?
I don't know if that one is. I've seen it before though, like on those channels. Like whenever, when you pick a video, you watch like, okay, you got this guy, he's doing the chiropractic stuff on somebody, and you're like, oh God, I can feel it. And you start dozing off. And then in the middle of the night, like at 4 a.m., you wake up and someone's getting suction cupped by this black sucking thing, like a big leak. That's what you did. I had no idea that's what it was called.
I have that done to my back, like before, like February, before COVID started. Okay. And like I came home, like my wife could not believe because my whole back was just bruised, like all the bruising, like they had done so much on it. And I was like, it didn't really hurt. Like it was uncomfortable.
Did it relieve something? Did you get anything out of it?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know that it was any different than everything else.
It wasn't any different for you than what?
Well, than the regular massage. It was just like, oh, we're just doing something different this time. Like, like, you just stuck your elbow in my shoulder. It was the same.
Oh, yeah, I do love chiropractic massages. Those are so good. But this one was probably the most intense, like, cupping I've had so far. Because I was expecting to see some pretty gnarly welts afterwards. Because it just felt like it was just, and it was. Yesterday it was even bigger.
Wow.
So.
Those are big.
Yeah.
Those are big welts.
So. Yeah. And speaking of big marks, Unmarked Law Enforcement, as we end the hot topics here, Unmarked Law Enforcement was sent by Trump all like into Portland this weekend, and we're in Seattle, so that's like a big local news. Yeah. To break up some protests because on the idea that they were attacking a federal building, which gives him the authorization under Article 40.
Sure. How convenient.
Yeah. So, and then anything where they can investigate is what they said. Sure. And so he's talked about going into Chicago. And Chicago's mayor, Duckworth, has announced to Trump, don't even try it. I had never heard of Mayor Duckworth until about a month ago when they started vetting her for VP. I don't know. Now I'm like, I want to hear more about her. I want to hear. What do you guys think about this unmarked law enforcement? Like, obviously they know who they are. So we sort of know who they are, but not individually, right?
Yeah, you don't.
They're border patrol kind of people. They get pulled into special assignments like this, but they don't have to wear a badge. Ooh, is this creepy or is it just undercover work?
It's creepy, man. It's a John Carpenter movie. You know what I mean? It's Escape from New York shit is what's going on. Like, who knows who these people really are when they come in there? I mean, you've got federal officers that could possibly be there, but who else could be dressing up?
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? As these kind of guys mimicking what they're supposed to be doing. So without proper identification, it's kind of a really shitty situation for civilians. I mean, that's scary stuff. And you're getting hauled off in a truck or a van and you don't know who the hell's taking you. I don't know, man.
The guy got a beanie that his beanie was pulled over his eyes and he didn't get it pulled off until he got to the station.
Dude,
he didn't know where he was. Oh, yeah, that freaks me out. Like,
it's horrible. I don't know, man. It's crazy. But, watching, it was the mayor, right? Is that who we're talking about? Was it the senator? Who someone else was on CNN too.
Well, yeah, because it was the mayor, but I think the video we saw on CNN was the congresswoman or
something
senator.
Like that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. They both were standing up to Trump, basically saying, you come in here, you better watch your ass. So, which is cool. I mean, how is she going to stop this guy? You gotta meet force with force sometimes. You know what I mean? And he seems like the type of guy, being a narcissist like he is, to when you hurt someone's ego like that, he gets ruffled. And as when you're writing something and you make that villain and that hero comes back and he says just the right thing at the right time to piss that hero or that villain off. If you do that with Trump, you see him shake. You know, anytime he's scripted, you know, he's more focused like this and he's talking and doing this thing. But when he's winging it, he's all over the place with his fucking shit that he does. And you know when he's like totally vulnerable. I mean, you could read this guy. Book, which is amazing that people ignore the obvious things that he lies about. I can't. I'm baffled by it. It's amazing to watch.
Do you ever wonder how much is a lot? Like, I wonder how much does he believe?
Right.
Like the George Costanza thing. It's not a lie if you believe it's true, right? Like, do you think there's a lot that he actually believes? Do you think he believes what he's saying?
I think so. I think he's really caught up in those conspiracy theories and the deep state stuff. I absolutely believe it. I think he molds everything by those theories. But when someone else comes in and goes, bro, you can't be, no, we got to calm you down a little bit. Then he'll finally back off a little bit. But for the most part, truly in his soul, I think he believes that stuff. He really does.
Like, I love when sometimes Samantha, I bring up Trump and she just gets quiet.
Yeah, well, she can't.
She's got to say.
I don't know. I mean, I think that deep in his soul, Trump loves his chicken spicy.
What?
Well, you brought up George Costanza, and I'm like, wait, where am I going with that?
Okay.
Got it.
Right? He just wants to be referred to as T-Bone.
Right.
Yeah, T-Bone.
Yeah. I do get quiet because it's just like,
it's rough.
And part of me is hoping, like, obviously I want our podcast to be wildly successful and all of that, but part of me is like, maybe just everybody doesn't know about it until after he's not president anymore. Like, I don't want to give him another reason to come after us brown people, you know. Just
I think we're enough under the radar right now. I think we. I
don't know. These videos are really taking off.
They're taking off.
Yeah.
Do you ever wonder though? Like, he doesn't drink, right? He said he's never drinking because his brother had a problem or something, and never done drugs.
Start.
That's what I was like.
Oh, that's an awful thing to say. No, I wouldn't.
Worse, or does he need to calm down? Like, would it calm him down if he just like got into Chardonnay?
Maybe. I mean, but isn't he on like Adderall and all that shit? I mean, he's hyper. I mean, you watch him in one of his rallies, and that guy can go 2 hours straight, like energy banging, and it's amazing. Rallies. It's ridiculous, right? So you can't really take him for granted as far as the showman.
Yeah,
kind of is. You know what I mean? That's the scary part. So what is this dude on? Like, he's got to be on something. So if he's going to believe in conspiracy theories, I believe that he is on something. Because there's no way that guy is as energetic at his age, out of shape as he is.
That's a good point. That is a good point. Yeah.
Because I don't know, because of like, if he's almost like a Tinkerbell, and like in an unpleasant way. But you know, where it's like all the clapping, it feeds him, and he like thrives on it. It just gives him more energy.
Right.
But a good point though, that he's got a lot of, like, he's not in good shape.
Right.
But he's got so much energy, and he's what, 7? He's 70, right?
He's not that old. I mean, to have that much energy.
Something like that. Yeah. I mean, he's not much. Who's older, Biden or Trump? I can't remember. Biden may be a little older, right?
Biden's a little older, yeah.
Okay. So Biden gets a lot of applause. He's got a big mass of people, right? Why is he not as energetic?
But I mean,
Trump's a TV star. I mean, he loves that.
Yeah, he lives for that.
Feeds off of it, right? So yeah, you could have him. You could say that technically, okay, maybe he is feeding off of that crowd and that energy, but he seems to go all day. He doesn't sleep. He's tweeting. I'm sleeping when he's tweeting still, and I know there's a 3-hour difference, but I'm like, dude, he's been up all night. This is the president of the United States. Like, when do you rest, bro? You know what I mean? It's kind of weird. I don't think he's...
Dude, bro.
Since 9/11.
We need to have an intervention.
9/11 was the only time I was really like aware of our 3-hour difference. After I was like, what has been happening for 3 hours? What? Until like then once from then until Trump being elected, I wake up and I check the news and to go the whole damage report, right? What is it? What happened in the last 3 hours? And it's I've never really cared otherwise, besides calling my mom.
It seems like more helpful if I don't turn on the news first thing in the morning and I just roll over and grab a baseball bat and just hit myself. It's just about the same feeling, you know?
It doesn't bother me. It doesn't hurt my day when I read that stuff first thing. I do the same thing you do. You grab for your phone and you start looking right away.
I'll say the first thing I read today was, I love seeing, whenever I see AOC's picture, I'm there. She's on my phone. I'm like, oh, what did she do today? And so this next time we found out that today she got stopped on the way to a vote, and a reporter overheard it. So we know it's not like there was a third party hearing it. Mm-hmm. And the congressman ended up calling her a fucking bitch as he left.
Right.
And I'm like, what?
Right.
Like, I mean, it wasn't in the building, it was on the steps. But that's a hot topic because that happened today. So This is coming out tomorrow, and we're going to be hitting at the same time The View and everyone else does. Okay, so this is a real hot topic. Do you think this calls for, like, should that congressman be censured, or should there be something for doing that outside the steps of the Hill? Like,
You would think that being a political figure, you would have more integrity, right?
Yeah.
Than to be like your normal guy stepping out of a bar talking shit. So in a way, I hear what you're saying. But I mean, if I had to pick between AOC and this guy, I don't even know what it was, Yoo-hoo or Yoho. What's his name? Some senator guy.
I hope it's not Yoo-hoo. Don't worry.
It's something weird like that, I swear. If you're playing Mortal Kombat and these two are characters, which one would you pick?
You know what always pick the girl character.
I'm going with her because she's from the Bronx. You know what I mean? She's 30 years old. She's feisty. She's got energy. This bitch don't play, is what I'm thinking. You know, this guy's an old white dude in a suit. I mean, from Florida.
Ted Yoho.
I don't know. Yeah. Yoho? Is that his name?
Oh, yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, I thought so. It's weird. But there was another guy with him, apparently.
She should have said, you can't call me a bitch. Your name is Yo-Ho.
I know, right? Yeah, it's...
Idaho. I don't know, Samantha. Is this the normal disrespect that you expect to get from...
I'm just laughing about Idaho, which is totally off topic. It just reminds me of anytime you drive through Idaho, people inevitably make that joke.
Yeah, Idaho.
I don't know. I had a not cross country, but like tri-state trip with a friend of mine. We were driving, I think, on his way to college, and like the whole time through Idaho, like every few hours, he'd be like, Idaho, 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 and I'm like, oh my god.
Like being at an open mic.
Yeah. Yeah. So yes. What do I think?
I mean, is the level of disrespect you are used to seeing female senators yet, or female?
No, I mean, well, so when you were saying
is this any different? Is it any different than anything else?
Wait, is it any different just because what did you say? I guess,
is the disrespect any different than they get just because he used a couple bad words?
Well, I mean, the level, yeah, you're right. Like the level of disregard people are showing for people that they don't consider one of them right now it's disgusting, right? Mm-hmm. But then on top of it, to not even try to cover it and be that open about it is also disgusting. And then on top of it, coming from an elder who should know better, it's even more disgusting. So it's all kinds of wrong. There's no reason to call her, of all people, that. And whether or not he did it while in or out of the building doesn't make much difference for me in terms of how wrong it is. Either way, it's wrong. Like, you can't just hang out with your coworker and then go out right outside of work and start saying all this stuff and be like, well, it's fine because I'm off the clock. Like, hey, you shouldn't be talking like that anyway.
Yeah.
Right.
You know,
this wasn't no, I mean, sorry.
Oh, no, you're fine. No, I was just thinking for someone to do that, it made me think about kind of Is she getting under these guys' feathers? You know what I mean?
Oh,
really irritating just the crap out of them for them to have to lash out in such a immature way. You know what I mean? Where I can see her walking away, like after he called her a fucking bitch. And as she turns her back, I'm going, got you. You know what I mean? Like she should know that she is just killing them. You know what I mean? So I think she's a fighter. I think she can take it and I think she can use it. So.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not really anything to say whether or not I think she can handle it or not. It's more just shame on him.
Yeah, I agree with that completely. Yeah, he shouldn't go there. You're absolutely right there. But you know how people are. Sometimes they do. Especially when they're
bitches. No, just kidding.
I think she tweeted that too. Didn't she tweet something about that?
Yeah. I think she said, bitches get stuff done.
Love her.
Yeah, she's
and speaking of, and moving over to a good topic, I think it's happy news, and a little nerdy news. Keanu Reeves is writing a comic book. His first issue is out in October. And I mean, Aaron, are you a comic book reader?
I used to be when I was a kid. Absolutely. Yeah.
What did you read? What did you read when you
Spider-Man for days. Captain America quite a bit. Moon Knight was one of my favorites, but it's funny how I don't remember Moon Knight like I remember the imagery. So those are some of my favorite ones. Do you remember Moon Knight?
No.
You don't remember Moon? Oh man. Okay. Check out Moon Knight one of these days. Just to see the imagery alone, it's cool. It's the coolest looking hero.
I will look that up.
Yeah, it's on Marvel. It's a Marvel comic.
It's okay. So I get here's Samantha. You don't read comic books, right?
I read some, but you would not really consider them comic books.
Were they graphic novels? Were they?
I did actually have a graphic novel once. I got V for Vendetta before the movie came out.
Oh,
I had that. I read that. And then of course I judged the movie based on what I read. But no, but it was more like Garfield or Archie growing up. Yeah. Although now I have to say, I feel like now would be a great time for me to stock up on some of those comic books and graphic novels and read them. Now would be a good time to do that. Like right now. See, you guys are just kidding.
No,
just, you know what I mean? Like getting into like a magical world or just
escaping.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
I hear you.
So he's, is this good for is it good for comic books or is it, sometimes I wonder, you see these celebrities decide to do well, now I can do anything. I'm going to write a comic book. Is it, do you think does it help comic books to have somebody kind of cross over into another medium, or is this, what is it? Is it like, oh, cool. Do you think when you hear it, do you think, wow, he's just so multi-talented? Or do you think oh, he's taking regular writers' jobs?
I believe that artists are multi-talented in a lot of ways. I think that when you're a creative person, you've got abilities that you probably haven't tapped into because you have your first priority and then the second priority, but you're pretty good at everything that you try. Those type of people do have that. Oh. So if you see somebody like Jamie Foxx, for example, you know what I mean? He can pretty much everything he tries, he can do great, right?
Jeez, you're right.
So if you think of somebody like Keanu, and every movie that he's done, whether it's an action movie or a drama or a comedy like the Bill and Ted's, I mean, he's fantastic, right? So, and then you go and see him shooting some real guns, and that motherfucker can get down. Okay. So you're like, man, is there anything this guy can't do? So I have pure faith in what
you believe in. The artists, the Renaissance artists, kind of it's great to delve into everything.
I never looked at it that way, but I think so. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think you should try every avenue you possibly can to see what you can do to push yourself constantly. That's something that I would like to do, but I know I can't draw. But writing comic book stories would be awesome. You know what I mean? But you could collaborate. So maybe I don't know what he's doing with the series, but the dude's talented guy. So.
I think Samantha and I have to believe in that you can do multiple things since we do.
Right. And I think it does depend on the person a bit too, because some people are more apt to want to try different things and have that crossover. And some people, they just really like to stay in, whatever their forte is.
Sure.
And they don't do as much crossover. But.
Right.
Like, Samantha, would you agree that, like, I feel like we meet a lot of comics who maybe are against, like, any crossover? Like, in LA, aren't there a lot of comics that are resentful toward actors who decide to try comedy? I would hear about that.
I mean, I just think it's that same thing with anyone who's done something longer than a newbie who's not making it their top priority when there's limited space and time, and those people are taking that time. You know what I mean? And so that just, I think, is pervasive for anything that people are doing in life in a way, I am not answering this fully. I'll say there are people on all sides who will get frustrated. Do you know what I mean? There's the people that like to cross over, and then there's the people that just like to do their own thing and are like, stop crossing over into my thing. Just get good at this, like really good at the one thing you're doing, because they don't like to, they don't like to do a bunch of other stuff.
Yeah.
And they don't have to.
I think it's hard for some people because in the arts, like what we try to do for a living is a lot of people's either just their outlet or it's a hobby to them, and they have no aspirations to make it like a serious thing. Mm-hmm. And so they're okay, like not getting paid or paid very little or just doing it. And I can see because coming from first acting, community theater acting, and then into comedy, and then moving into like film, I've seen the frustrations and like the anger of people like, guys, stop doing this for free. You're doing this, whatever. Like usually once person's a little older and they want to make it a living, they're like, they were doing it for free, but now they're older. They're like, we got to stop this nonsense. Like I do feel bad sometimes that I'm like, well, I'm sorry that you've chosen a career that for some people is a hobby, but that's kind of what we chose. You chose it, and I know that, so I can't get mad at anybody ever for like. I'm not gonna get mad because somebody goes and acts in a play and doesn't get paid because they loved it. They know what they're doing, and like, yeah, I wish I could get paid to do it, but I'd like to think it's different level.
Do you think there's different levels of passion for whatever someone does? Is it leveled off? Like if you're passionate about something and you do it because it's a hobby, you obviously love doing it, or you wouldn't pick it as a hobby. Okay. But what elevates that next person to do it not only as a hobby, but something they love, but something that they want to pursue as a career? How do you level that off? And
sometimes I think it's one. I think there's the people who it's responsibility that holds them back. Okay. That like they feel like they have a level of responsibility, whether it's to a family or parents or something, that they can't like take the risk, which I do think also comes back to fear. I think it fears a lot. Right. And whether the person, I've met some people, they were fearless actors. They're fearless on stage, but they're not going to leave their nursing job, which is very secure and allows them to come and do this all the time, for the risk of one, not getting to do it as much and not making it. And then it's not fun for them anymore. Right. Because when you start getting rejected, when you're the big fish in the pond, it can feel good. Mm-hmm. And especially if you have no desire to jump into for a more competitive atmosphere, right? It can feel good being that big fish. And I think fear holds back a lot of people. And I don't ever, because I've met some of the most professional behaving people have been in community theater. Mm-hmm. They're like, them getting paid doesn't change the level of professionalism they bring to working on things. you know.
Right. Yeah, they adore it. No, I get it. No, I always thinking about that stuff too. Go ahead, Samantha. I'm sorry.
Oh, well, I was going to say priorities, but also I was going to say Keanu Reeves comic. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Before that didn't happen. I think it comes down to priorities.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's really what the difference is.
Gotcha. So,
and in addition, of course, to what Silas is saying, but that's kind of what it boils down to. Because some people, they do prioritize their security over the unknown.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Yes.
And maybe they love that more. And that's totally fine.
Right. No, there's nothing wrong with it. But do you think that they talk themselves out of pursuing both just as passionately, though? I guess that's my question. You know, you see some people go, well, I'm going to do this as a hobby because I know it won't really happen, but I'll still keep my day job. You know, I believe that true passionate people can actually do both. You know, I mean, you guys are doing it. You guys have day jobs. I have a day job, but maybe we're not at the level we want to be, but you're still pursuing it. Like, you know, you want it to happen. Right. And that's kind of the difference. I'm thinking that some people who are passionate about what they work on, maybe it's just a tad different than someone who's like, I'm going for it. Well, but there's going for it smart, but not like quitting your day job. I mean, I get that.
Yeah, I'm not entirely. I think I get it. Because I also feel like there is that part about prioritizing, but then there's also that part where it doesn't feel like a choice. Like I personally, and also how fear drives people. Like you were saying, Silas, it comes down to fear. But for me, a big reason why I didn't go to law school, which was one of the things that I initially wanted to do, along with acting too. But one of the reasons why I was like, no, screw it. I got to go for this. And why I initially went to LA and just was like, I got to do it, was because I was even more afraid of getting to a certain age and just feeling like I wasted my life because I didn't go after what I felt like I had to do with every fiber of my being. Right. And, so it's there still was I still did make a choice, but at the same time, I feel like I didn't have a choice because, because it just felt like you just have to. And now at this point, where I'm talking priorities, I'm prioritizing my well-being. That's coming first because for a lot of years, the career came first. And I would still obviously love to have the career of my dreams, but even more than that, I want to be happy. I want to have a balanced life. And at a certain point, you just think if the cost is too great. And my attitude now is, okay, career, you come on my terms because I'm done sacrificing myself for you. I'm going to show up, I'm going to work hard, I'm going to do everything that I have to do, but you're not more important than me. So I got a little attitude about it right now.
No, good.
Yeah.
I think there's an element, and I don't know how much I believe this, but I do. Okay, it depends on the day, I guess. That I think about it being a calling for folks, and I think that's where it's not a call. I think if you are able, the whole thing, if you're able to do something else for money, go do that. And if you're going to be happy, for them, it's not a calling. I think you can be passionate about it. You can be passionate about acting and love every fiber of it. But I think for some folks, and it's not just in the arts, I just think that there's some things that they feel there is a calling that they are meant to do, and it has to be there because no matter what they do and they try, they somehow find a way to do it again.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I told when I got into real estate, I told Gretchen, I'm not changing who I am if I do this. I'm not changing who I am. I'm going to try to make films. If I make this much money, I need to be able to shoot a film. Is that okay? And she's like, yeah, fine. You make that much money, I don't care. I'm like, all right, cool. All right. I got permission there. Okay, not that she wouldn't have given me permission, but it made me feel good to have the conversation up front, right?
Right.
And then even doing it, just doing the regular day job, I'm finding, well, what if I do a podcast with it? Or what if I make these videos? And those where I get excited about. I'm like, ooh, right. I can bring what I do into this, and I'm a writer, and I'm directing it a little bit, and ooh, maybe I could, and I've had these other ideas I haven't done yet, but I I think you incorporate it into what you're doing, even if you can't quite do it.
Right.
So
No, but that's
Right.
that's being creative, man. That's what I'm talking about. That's
Like that
finding a
outlet
way.
has-
Yeah.
yeah.
I'm always like trying to decide whether my big battle is always consuming versus creating.
Right.
And I want to consume this stuff. And sometimes I'm like, I've been consuming too much. And so now I haven't been creating, and I feel more bad about that than like, oh, there's been clothes sitting there that I needed to fold for 3 days. Like,
Mhm.
I'm
Which one does your wife feel worse about?
she doesn't touch them. This is weird.
Just
But
don't
she
say
doesn't
that.
listen. I can say anything.
Oh, we gotta finish the show, man.
I'm like there's other things that I even want to say I want to do. I'm like, I'm going to work on the garage, but what if I come up with 10 reasons why Star Trek can help you buy a house?
Right.
Nice, yeah.
Very small audience. I could probably just go clean the garage, but I don't know. Like, I'm always thinking of something else I could do. Like, sometimes I'm like, eventually I just need to like manage people.
Mm-hmm.
I need to be Michael Scott, right? I just need to manage a brokerage so that I can do everything I want the real do inside and make them do all the real estate work.
Right.
I'll come up with creative things that I can do. We're gonna do a talent show, guys. I don't know. Oh, okay. We got to move on here. It's now the time for the social media post of the week.
Ooh.
Ding, ding, ding. That's our sound effects. Every week I find something, big or small, that I'm gonna that was a favorite on social media for me, and this is a little short one that came from Eric Middlebrooks, MD. He tweeted out, "Funny that these COVIDiots say masks can't block the virus, and then say masks block O2. You have to pick one or the other false narrative. COVID-19 particles are 0.125 microns, coming in at 250 times larger than O2 at 0.0005 microns. But I know facts aren't their strong suit." And I just really like that because I love when doctors chime in. Well, one, I just never expect them to like throw shade.
Right.
I never expect that from a doc, like an MD, right?
I know. You expect them to get on and be like, "You fucking bitch," but you can't see it because it's in their chicken scratch. But they did it outside of the hospital, so.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Samantha's the master of the callback on the pod. It's have you guys heard those arguments from people, or have you read them?
Oh yeah. Yeah, all the time.
They can't.
Yeah, I don't know what to say about it. Like that stuff is just remarkable to me, but especially the mask thing in general. It's sad to see so many people not give a shit about others. Did not have any empathy whatsoever because they refuse to just even keep an open mind, about the small possibility of it being a fact, and to me, that's just sad. I mean, I used to be a smoker. Okay. I remember when you could smoke in a bar, bowling alley. When I was a kid, you go smoking section, non-section, when you go to Denny's, whatever it was, man, you could do that stuff. And then I smoked in bars, and the next thing you know, we're out 25 feet away from the front door because it would hurt other people. Right.
Yeah.
And we didn't like it.
People were
Smokers
going nuts.
did not like it. We were pissed. Like, this is if you're not man enough to be in a bar with cigarette smoke, don't be in a bar. That was the attitude, right? Anyway, it would just surprise me now with this whole thing going on that, I'm sorry, guys, I got a mess up here on my thing. Excuse me for a second. Hang on, where are you? There you are. I think. Oh, okay, there you go. With that kind of mentality, we were able to adapt as cigarette smokers. So why can't people adapt to a mask? And it's not like you're wearing it all day. You're only going to the store, to the bank, whatever it is. It's 5-10 minutes tops. I mean, you don't have to wear it in your car alone. By the way, people who wear their mask in their car driving down the road.
Hold on. That's
bruh. They can't, but they can't drive.
The people
I'm behind in the car. If they're in the car alone driving, those are the people that I'm trying to get around. You know what I mean? Because they won't go. And then I go, I guarantee they have a mask on alone in the car. And I look over and like, yep, they got a mask on alone in the car.
Well, it's supposed to be down here and not up here. So that might be part of the problem.
I'll say this. I wear the mask in the car if I don't have my hand sanitizer, if I forgot it.
Got it.
Because it's a reminder for me not to touch my face or anything and to wash my hands when I get home. So then as soon as I get home, I take it off and go scrub my hands real fast.
That's not a bad. I get that.
I was going to actually say when the masks, when this just started, I would do the same thing because I hadn't broken the habit of touching my face all the time.
Right.
So yeah, I don't do that now so much, but yeah, in the beginning I did too.
And then you wouldn't forget it in the car either when you go to where you're going, because that's what happens to me. I don't have it in the car. I have it in the car with me.
Yeah. I have.
I'm not wearing it, and I get all the way to the store door, and then I got to go all the way back to the car to get my mask to put it back.
I usually keep at least 2 in the car because one is
Rockefeller over here.
one is contaminated when I go in, right? And so if it's been out the 24 hours, it should be fine. Like it shouldn't have any contaminants on it. So I feel okay bringing it and going into the store again with it.
Okay.
Otherwise, we bring it into a certain part of the house and throw them in the laundry. So kind of we have a procedure. But so I leave 2 in there in case I forget one. And then I'll have, I know they've sat there. So I'm like, okay. So I do that. I'll admit that. I do wish sometimes though people would I would prefer it if they just said I don't want to.
Yeah.
Rather than
the excuses.
I've got a medical no, I've never met or heard of anyone that's passed out from wearing a mask.
No.
Ever. It's not
also
real.
Too, they could just get like a super light bandana or something that's really, really breathable if it is an issue for them.
They just don't want to do it. They just don't want to do it.
Here's the thing, you guys. Sorry, I really don't like the reason why we have to wear masks. Of course, duh. That'd be crazy if I was like, no, I don't. But what I do like, it's like another element to the wardrobe.
Right?
Like people.
It is
think
kind
of
of cool.
the possibilities.
The accessorizing.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Yeah.
I don't have to put on makeup ever when I go outside. I don't even have to brush my teeth. I brush my teeth. I do brush my teeth.
I always think of like Winter Soldier from Captain America. Like he looked really cool wearing his. So every time I put mine on,
that's true.
I walk to the store like different when I have it on. Like you think it's like super cool or something. No, I'm with you.
We need more like steel masks, right? Not even just steel with a ventilator. Like people be like, that'd be badass.
Accessorize it. Look cool.
Okay. And here we go. Silas wants to be a film reviewer, so this is what Silas is now doing a movie review each week. A good suggestion for a movie if I haven't been able to see one, or one that I did take a look at. I'm going to let you know what I thought. And this week's movie came out earlier this month on July 3rd. It's called Desperados on Netflix. Have either of you seen this film?
I have not. No, I have not. I've seen the trailer.
Intriguing.
It is a comedy romance.
Ooh.
And it is garbage. I will say that. Hold on. I'll clarify it though. Briefly, the synopsis is a panicked young woman and her 2 best friends fly to Mexico to delete a ranting email she sent to her new boyfriend. On arrival, they run into her former beau, who soon gets caught up in their frantic scheme. Now, there's some good actors in this. Nassim Pedrad, which she's the lead. I've seen her in a bunch of things. Anna Camp, I love her from Pitch Perfect. Oh, she's so good. And Sarah Burns, I'm not that familiar with. Lamorne Morris is the guy I always see around. He's a black actor. I always see him in things, but I don't remember who he is ever. Like his name. I don't know. Like, either. Oh, it's that guy. That guy.
That guy in that one thing.
He's in a bunch of things. Now look, it's about 105 minutes, so it's a quick thing. It's a rom-com, so you have to be okay with that to begin with.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it opens up with early on. There's a blind date with the Lamorne's character, and it doesn't go well. And I just thought actually that was his appearance. I thought he was actually going to be gone from the film after that, so I didn't know he was one of the main actors in it. Basically, this woman, she's a little annoying. She talks too much. She says things that she shouldn't, and it gets her in trouble. And she's having a whole hard time meeting a guy, and that she really wants because her best friends both have great relationships, or relationships at least. And so she decides she's going to try being someone else and not say what's on her mind. So she tries to change herself to get a guy to like her, and he does because she's kind of docile, right? And like doesn't have an opinion, and so except for whatever his is, and so I'm like, okay, I already know what the story's about, right? It's going to be about be yourself, and that's how you find true love, right? We know this. So it's kind of predictable in that, like a lot of rom-coms. The jokes they're not. It's not particularly that funny. Like, there's not that much original about it. But here's the thing that stuck me through the whole thing, though, that I really liked about it. So, the lead actress, she's white. I mean, by her name, I guess she must be some descent of something else. Her name isn't Jane, right? Okay. But here's a white lady. And then the black guy is the other guy, the ingenue. I don't know what do you call the other guy, the leading guy, and it is not brought up once.
Oh, that's refreshing.
There's not a joke made, not an easy laugh. There's not one reference to him being black or her being white. He's just the guy, and I was thrilled by this. I was going to say, I was like, I'm waiting for the joke. I'm waiting for the standard joke to throw in. They just treated it like
you guys.
There were two people.
The joke was their relationship.
The what?
The joke was their relationship. Right? Didn't you say they didn't end up together?
Well, I mean, in the beginning, they found each other during it.
Oh, okay. Well, then I take it back.
But I just love the fact that they would go through like this whole thing without making one joke about it, and that really kept me. And I'd say that bumped it up to like a C for me. Like, all right. I mean, they each had a couple of moments. I mean, they're clearly they're good actors. They didn't have a script that was great. It wasn't my favorite performance by Anna Camp. Like, she was, but they had. There was some. I wouldn't recommend it for Samantha. I think it was a little too vulgar for Samantha. I think Samantha
Yeah, I was swearing way more on this episode, so
okay. It's a little crude, and my daughter unfortunately walked in on a part that was really made me uncomfortable, and I had to pause it. And no. I mean, no nudity, but it was an inappropriate discussion on the TV. I'm like, oh no, I don't even want to know that. You're not asking questions. You already know. Oh my God. That was horrifying for me. But like, look, it's a light movie. If you want something to play where you don't have to think, because I did start watching a different movie, but I was like, I'm not in the mood right now. I need something light. Let me try this Desperados. So I was like, I didn't want, this COVID time. Sometimes I'm wanting less drama in my life.
Sure.
That's right. You're not Shakespeare.
That's right. So, I got through it. It wasn't the worst thing I've watched. I will say that. It's just it's not a great film. But if you want something that you can watch while folding the laundry and not worry too much, and you'll see the predictability of it. You know where it's going to go, and just want to see how they kind of get there. I'd say that it's a good pick. And if nothing else, let's encourage black lead actors who don't have to be gangsters.
There you go.
That's what I say.
Very nice.
Well, do you have a comment, Samantha?
I did, but then I do. But I'm also inspired by another tagline for our podcast.
What?
Black and a half, two blurs, not gangsters. It's just like, I don't know. I just thought it was funny that you said that. I finally started watching Working Moms based off of your recommendation. Good.
Yes.
I'm like 3 episodes in, but yeah, it's good.
I like it. Is there anything you're watching, Aaron, right now that you want to shout out?
No, actually, I stayed away from the series. Once Ozark was done, I took a break from the series.
Okay.
I needed a moment because that is some of the best stuff I've ever seen in my life.
It was so good. I watched it so. I definitely binged it too much.
Right.
To the point where when I was sleeping, I was having dreams with who's the curly blonde?
What's her name?
She becomes a main.
Yeah.
I know, it's been a while. See how easily I forget.
I don't know shit about
Rose?
That girl. Is it
Curly
Rose or
Sue? I don't know.
Dude,
the Jerry curled girl.
I know you're talking
it's not like Jerry curled. The what is it? The early 90s Justin Timberlake hair girl. Spaghetti Timberlake hair girl. Anyway, I was having I literally was like waking up in the middle of the night worried about her. And I'm like, oh, I need to stop watching that show. It's like stressing me out.
It is. It's intense.
I have not watched it yet.
Good.
Oh, you'll love it.
It was really good.
Is it stressful?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Like, yep, definitely, absolutely.
Yeah,
is it
but worth every second.
Is it Breaking Bad stressful?
Yes.
No.
Yes. I think it's better. I actually think it's better than Breaking Bad.
Well,
stressful, not better.
Oh, well, I think it's just as stressful at a majority of the time more than Breaking Bad was. Yes. They stretch it out in Ozark. Like every moment you think where, okay, we're going to get a minute to breathe, something else happens. It just keeps compounding all the way into every season. It does it. It's ridiculous. Where Breaking Bad had moments of like,
do you like
peaceful? Which
do you
one?
Like the characters in Ozark?
Oh God, yeah. The family.
That was
family.
probably
You do like
the
them,
best part,
right?
I think that was the biggest thing for
Breaking
the biggest
Bad,
thing.
like they're not likable.
No, they're not. For Breaking Bad, what kept me watching it, other than for their stellar acting, was because I wanted to make sure Jesse lived.
Yeah,
because at a certain point, I didn't like pretty much any of them except for Jesse. I was like, oh, we got to make sure that he's okay. Yeah. But for Ozark, yeah, I cared about a lot of them.
Okay.
The character development, so good. I did find it less stressful than Breaking Bad. However, there have been years apart in my life. So my tolerance for shocking, stressful things on television, I'm probably a little more calloused.
Built the tolerance to it better. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah, probably a little bit more. So, man, Silas, you should have known me when. If you think things shock me now, you would be like, you would only be able to like tell me a nursery rhyme years ago. No, I wasn't that bad, but yeah.
So Aaron, what would you describe yourself as? Instead of like you're a filmmaker, would you describe yourself as, well, I'm a producer or director? No. What would you say?
I'm a storyteller.
Storyteller. Okay.
Storyteller. I love the stories. Absolutely love the stories. And for most of my life, I've tried to find the platform to tell them on. So I've done everything. So we talked about artists earlier and drawing comic books. I've tried that. I was a kid, but I made them. You know what I mean? And those things.
Remember your first story?
Yeah, John West. He was a private detective.
Oh yeah.
Yep,
yeah.
John West. Yep. And I mimicked the comic book style of Don Martin in Mad Magazine.
So what medium was that in, John West? What was that? Was that a film?
No. That was just out of my head when I was a little kid. I really loved in early 80s. I loved Miami Vice a lot. I loved all that kind of hyper, like, musically themed stuff. Music videos when they came out, I adored them because I really saw what like music can do with the visuals. Yeah. Kind of connected. So in my head, when I would turn the music up really loud, like turn on like 97.3, whatever that was back then in Seattle. And I'd listen to all the songs and, give me some Phil Collins would come on or Genesis. And one of the scenes would hit, I'd be drawing my ass off trying to make these cartoons, right? Because I loved them so much. And I visualized every little square like a film. So I was basically storyboarding when I was a kid.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I never thought of it that way because I was trying to make a comic book.
Huh.
So that's where it kind of started.
Did you finish a comic book of John West? Or
I did short comics. So kind of like Archie's, like she was talking about earlier. Yeah. I did those. I did a lot. They were like a page or two, but it would be a quick story of this little detective guy going through and saving the day. I mean, I did that from, gosh, maybe I was 11, 12 years old. Maybe. Yeah.
Was your family into the storytelling? Where did it come from? Like,
my dad was a huge movie fan. And when I was a kid, I mean, from the earliest age, I mean, I remember going to see Star Wars when it was released when I was a kid, and I was 4. I remember standing in line. I don't remember seeing the movie, but I remember standing in line to see Star Wars, and we were on the hill down in downtown Tacoma at Rialto Theater, going up the hill, waiting to get in. And I don't know, since I was a kid, he took me to everything. I mean, I saw The Shining in the theater when I was what?
Oh,
I did. I was right with him. I saw Scarface when it came out in 1983. I was 10 years old. I had a double feature that day. I saw Sudden Impact with Clint Eastwood and Al Pacino's Scarface with my dad.
Now, I will say I watched movies that were highly inappropriate for myself when I was a kid, but we did it at home.
Same. Yeah, I think I saw The Shining when I was like 7 or something. The movie terrifies me. And my room was right next to the living room. And so I'd go in there and they'd be like, well, you could go to your room. But then I'm just in my room imagining everything so much worse. So I just come out and watch. And
I read The Shining when I was in 5th grade. So whatever age that is, I read it and that was terrifying. Right. The funniest thing for me though was the horror. Well, the horror wasn't. It was that when they talked about sex stuff, I didn't know what the hell I knew it was sex. I didn't know what these words were.
Yeah, I still
don't
know
what they were doing.
Yeah, I mean, what words were they using? Come on, paint a picture for us. Storyboard it. No, don't actually. But what's cracking me up about you reading the imagining you reading The Shining is how do you? Because in a movie, when something's scary, I'll close my eyes or do how do you do that when you're reading your book?
I think what you do is you almost don't stop reading because you're afraid because you're going to look around and keep going because you're hoping it'll get out of the danger or whatever, move on to something else.
It pulls you so deep in sometimes you don't even remember you're reading. Yeah. You don't remember reading it and you're like, holy crap, I read all that whole chapter. And you had no idea you even did it. You know what I mean? You're just gone. It's crazy.
Yeah. I think if you don't read that many scary books.
If you don't finish reading it, you're stuck in that moment.
Right.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Yeah. Yeah. So you got to keep reading.
Get through it.
Got to get out of it.
Yeah.
Just turn it off and walk away.
Well, wait a second. So you guys wait. So what we need to do is we need to start writing down the history for the year 2020. And so we just need to write ourselves into a better version. Let's get chopping.
Yeah. Yeah. Right. And write it fast.
Yeah, right.
Got a sketch. Let's run a sketch. All right. So Aaron, what was the your dad took you to movies all the time, and so that what point did you know that you wanted to try making some? Was that early on?
Oh man, no, that was later. I went and started writing. I wrote 2 novels back in the mid 90s. I wrote 2. One was more of a, I don't know, action horror, and another one was more of a childhood fear of mine, a Bigfoot I had. But I had this huge story in my head about an expedition going off and looking for Bigfoot, like they did with Jurassic Park, and you've got or Lost World, I should say, when you got a team of all these expedition guys and you've got, a medic and you got this guy and that guy. And I wrote this huge story of them going up and looking for Bigfoot in the Pacific Northwest. And you run into this thing that's not what they were ready for. You know what I mean? And it was kind of like my King Kong almost. It was really cool. I loved writing that story. I always wanted to make a movie of it, but I'm like, I need all this money and all these people to do all this stuff that I can't do. And then I got a laptop, and this was I want to say 1999, 2000. And I saw this Windows Movie Maker on the icon that was pre-installed. And I'm like, what the hell is that? And I double clicked on it. I'm like, holy shit, you can make movies. And that's how I started. So I went and bought a Panasonic DV cam and started learning on my own. And that's what I did. So it's been probably 20 years now that I've been making films.
Wow.
It's taken me that long to get the balls to put one out in the planet. Yeah.
What was the first thing do you remember the first thing you shot?
Yeah, the first thing we shot was a film called Silent Shadows, and it was me and my 2 sons at the time. Okay. And we tried to put this little movie together, them coming in and breaking into the house, sneaking in to get like a jar of peanut butter. And the parents are walking around, and it was like based off of Spy versus Spy in my head. I was like, okay, that old cartoon in Mad Magazine. I was thinking, okay, we sneak in, you guys get the stuff and get out, but all kinds of stuff happens. But I had no idea how to do audio at all. So I knew the audio was there. I turned on the camera, I could hear it, but when I transferred to the computer, I had no idea how to do anything. So we made it Silent Shadows because it was a silent film. And I added all the special effects because I had no idea how to even get the actual audio from their acting in the system to compute it, to render the movie. I had no idea. But that was before YouTube. So when YouTube hit, I was able to pick up on things and start following filmmakers out there that were putting tutorials out. And I learned. My film school was online and films I watched. That's what I did.
So like everything you know about filmmaking, I mean, that you started to learn was off of YouTube.
Correct. The techniques and the education of how to actually edit, to do visual effects, from the production side of things to the lighting to the audio components, all those things I learned online. But when you watch movies, you hold on to things. I'm a storyteller in my head because I have that imagination, right? And when you watch movies, I watch them 2 or 3 different ways. It depends on what mood I'm in. Sometimes I'll watch them on the technical side, and I'm looking at the way it was shot or cut, and I'm just like, oh man, that's a great shot. That's a great cut. Oh man, listen to those sounds. Listen to that music. I hear all or see all those things. And then sometimes I'm just wrapped up in the story and I don't see any of that stuff. So I want to watch it again to get that technical stuff out. So it just depends. But I really try to pay attention to those things, and it's helped me, I think, just visualize stuff as a writer, a director, and actor, all those things. That's what I try to do.
Now, did you when you were learning, would it be more like you were going to shoot something and you couldn't figure out how to do it, so you would look for that, or did you preemptively learn? Would you go like? Okay.
Yeah, I stumbled across a lot of things. So, for example, I just wanted to make, like we were talking about earlier, about just needing to do something like a calling. I would always try to make these short films or whatever with friends, family, whatever, just because I was like, hey, well, this is good memories. We'll always have these things, and it'd be really funny to look back. We can put the kids in them, and they're little, and then they get older, they'll be embarrassed to watch them and all that stuff. But it's really fun. It's really fun still, right? So we do those things. I had no idea I was teaching myself how to do certain things, making those. I get to points where I'm making these movies, and I go, God, I wish I could. Dylan, my son Dylan, I wish you could get hit by a bus in the street right now. That would be so funny for this movie. And then you just pop up and go, Dad, I'm okay. And then you'd run away. So I'd look that stuff up, how to make it look like you get hit by a car. I go around YouTube, and there you go. There's a tutorial, Film Riot one out, or Andrew Kramer puts one out, and you're like, oh my God, that's exactly what I'm looking for. You learn how to do it. You jump in there and you make it happen. And all the years of doing these movies, I got to a point where, man, I think I know a lot of this stuff on an average level that I could probably sell. So maybe we should try to actually make a movie and put it out on the planet and get ripped to shreds. But who cares? People hate Avengers, so what do I care? If they're going to rank on that movie, why do I care if they're going to rank on my $2,000 feature? You know what I mean? So that stuff didn't scare me anymore. So I just was ready to go.
So which was your first film that you put out, your first feature?
Yeah, that would be The Outrider. That's the one that we actually put out in the world. Yeah, we did 2 or 3 features before that, but that was just for us to see if we were getting there. You know what I mean?
You did a film noir, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that you? Okay.
Yeah, that's The Outrider.
Oh, that's the same film.
Same film. Yes, sir.
Wait, I thought I saw different. Okay, maybe I mixed up trailers on something because I thought it was. Because I made a joke on Facebook about how, I don't know what made me think of a black noir or film noir film, because I was like, it's really funny whenever I see something about when I hear film noir, like I know there's not going to be any black people. in it, right?
Right.
And then you said, then you I think it was you commented, not on mine.
Not on mine.
Or
That's
something.
me. Yeah.
Which is why film noir as your first?
Well, a couple reasons. One, the story I was trying to tell, when I started writing it, I realized that it was this detective mystery. So I'm like, okay. So, and I had a lot of people always tell me, you watch all these movies, Aaron, but you never really watch the old classics. And I'm like, well, because they don't appeal to me. Visually, I just didn't appreciate black and white. So I forced myself to go back and watch some. So I started with Maltese Falcon with Bogart, and I watched that movie, and I actually fell in love with it. So then I went, okay. So then I went and watched something recent that's not a noir, but Schindler's List again. And I watched Spielberg do the black and white. And I'm like, oh, it's brilliant. If you really watch it, it's really beautiful. So then as I'm writing The Outrider, I realized this is not a noir story. It's a supernatural horror film. But I really like the concept of, man, it'd be cool if we can just create this world that emulates and pays tribute to those noir films, still being a mystery, still following a detective trying to find this missing girl, but you got all this cool horror shit in it, right? Yeah. That's kind of where I went with it. And then I realized it was such a good move because the equipment we had and the lighting systems we had, we really wouldn't pull off the color grading right. Yeah. So the black and white saved a lot of the movie to make it look more professional. Huh. It did because we worked with one camera with one lens and we used like lighting from Home Depot. We DIY'd this thing. We really did. I mean, and that's what that black and white noir, it became the story. It really helped it all come together. That's the only reason. It wasn't like I set out to make a noir. It just happened. And that's what's so fun about it. Sometimes things just happen.
I do think there's something I do like, but I've always loved like black and white photography. Mm-hmm. For me, I think it's always, it filters everything away from special effects, which I love. I'm a huge sci-fi fan. I love it, but I love when everything gets focused on the humanity, maybe, of what's going on, and you're not distracted by the colors of things around the trees, and you really look at the person. And I think that's, for me, that's what I like about the black and white.
You're right.
Film.
Cinematically, it really, you can emphasize certain things that you can in color that really jump out. It's weird. I know exactly what you mean, though.
And you know what? And this degree why I think sci-fi from the 50s and 60s was a little better. Mm-hmm. Storytelling, because they didn't have the special effects. They knew they were cheesy, so we can only do it a little bit. We got to focus on this being a good story,
correct, and
good characters. And so Star Trek was great because they had to focus on the story as the prime thing.
That's
and
exactly
now
right.
Now it's so much special effects, and they're like, well, we can just. It's both wonderful that now if you imagine it, you can create it. Right. We have the technology now, and that's wonderful.
Yes, it is.
But the lack of limitations also, unfortunately, means you don't have to get creative.
Right. And really focus on those elements, the human elements that you're talking about, where you're really connecting with maybe not only the story, but the characters involved in it. Absolutely.
And I always think about like the great films that happened because special effects failed. Right, like Jaws.
Right,
he couldn't get the shark to work all the time, and so they created the whole. Let's have the camera at the angle of the shark, and we got to shoot anyway.
Yeah,
that made me think of Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood. I know it's not, a movie, but just when you don't have the budget or the effects, or you just have to improvise.
Right. There's a magic that naturally comes out if you're doing it for the right reasons. You know what I mean? That's exactly why those older films were so good. I remember watching the Godzilla movies when I was a kid. I loved them, as cheesy as they were. Why were they so good? I loved them. And to this day, I watch them. My kids don't appreciate them. I'm like, oh, Dad, that sucks. I'm like, no, this is the best shit ever, guys. Where are you going? Where are you going, guys? You know what I mean? You tell them, come back and watch. And it's brilliant. It really is. I don't know. It's the magic of cinema. It really can be cool if you do it right.
I've been shocked recently to discover that people who never watched the first Star Wars will find the first Star Wars slow.
Right.
And I'm like, what are you talking about? This is great. This is great sci-fi. Like, yeah. But everything derivative of it that exists, there's so much more action and the pacing's expected to be quicker. And like, they're like, why are people pouring over this movie so much? And like, well, we watched it 100 times. There's so many little details, and like, you're missing it because it's not like because there's a slow scene, I guess.
Yeah, they're not paying attention.
Apparently, so you're missing the dialogue because the questions you're asking later, it was answered. It was there. You didn't.
Right.
I mean, granted, I've watched this 100 times, so I maybe know that one. But I never thought of that as a slow movie until like the last 3 months when I was listening to a podcast about it. And I was like, I guess it is. I never thought of it that way because it's so cool. Like how much people I don't know, like everything that people complain about now that was slow. I was like, but it was so thoughtful.
We're getting old, man. We're getting old. You're getting old. Yeah. I mean, I'm 47 years old. I mean, after a while you look back and the movies that scared me, I couldn't wait to show the kids like Nightmare on Elm Street, with Krueger, the very first one, the good one. And I put it on and these guys were laughing watching this movie. I was terrified watching the Nightmare on Elm Street and my kids are laughing their asses off next to me. And I felt so stupid. And you know what I mean? Same thing with Star Wars. Yeah. It's just different. It's just different, man.
I've realized that my daughter's seen all the things derivative of these films. Like we watched Die Hard, and she was like, oh, it's okay. And I realized watching it, like, she's not as excited as I thought she would be. Right. I'm like, oh, because she's seen plenty of movies with buildings blowing up. Right. This is not new to her.
Right. It's weird. Yeah,
like,
totally different time.
And now I've actually kind of gotten to the point that I'm like, well, you know what? I guess I'm going to let her, if she's into it and then wants to see if she has questions, like if she sees a movie and she's into it, that I'd be able to go, well, that's actually based off of another film and just leave that out there. And then if she wants to go look up that film and learn more about it, I guess that's a way to go it rather than these, you got to watch these. This was the first, like if she's a kid, if she was a student and we're trying to teach her, I'm like, well, then you need to go back and look at, that's why we listen to Moliere, right? Because we got to learn why, right? It's not because we're going to enjoy it. We just got to learn why they did it this way. Nobody ever has to play the harpsichord again.
Yes,
right? But we need to know why they play the piano now. Because here's how it started. I offended Samantha, who's a big harpsichord fan.
Oh, geez. I'm not getting in it.
Samantha and I have argued about Shakespeare offline.
Yeah.
And look, I used to sell Shakespeare.
It's such a snooze fest for you.
I used to sell Shakespeare merchandise. I was a big Shakespeare fan. I'm still a fan. I have just questioned, as I've gotten more black militant, I think, too. Part of me is like, it's not my story. There's none of my story in there. Unless we make this my story, unless we're going to switch things, it's not my...
See, I disagree.
It's women's stories. There was a bunch of men acting.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's the part that that's the part, and I know, some people are going to want to get more snooty or historically based with it or blah, blah, blah. And that's not my jam with the Shakes, you guys. I'm more into like the human, like the relationships, the human connections, the foils people get into, all of like the dynamics, power dynamics, all of those things. It's so universal. And so I did have people tell, like in the past, be like, well, I think I might have told you this story before, but like when I got to play Juliet in high school, before I found out I was going to get to play her, a friend of mine, he was like, oh, the school play's coming up. Like, what do you want to be? And I'm like, it's Romeo and Juliet. Who do you think I want to be? And he's like, but you're black. And I'm like, yeah. And I'm also a woman. but they're not casting a guy for Juliet. You know, the whole thing to me, that's how people can make it as historically accurate or not. But I know that the majority of shows that we see here do not have all male casts, to which I say, huzzah, I'm going to do what I want with it. Like, it's about the people. So that's why I say they may not have written it for us, but yes, they still did, because we deserve to be there.
I think there's also something to me that's gotten about like enough English plays. I want new works. I want to hear new stories. I'll watch them, yes, but I'm like, I don't want any more slave stories. I just want something.
But what if it's like a slave noir?
Slave noir? Well, now I want to write that. That sounds just wonderful now. Slave noir. That's funny on so many levels, Samantha. That's
Thank you.
My God.
Yeah, write me a part in it, okay? Don't forget. Don't forget.
Slave Rider, the sequel.
I will say I read about a production of Macbeth that I thought I would love to see, was where it was actually performed in the Caribbean to locals, and they made it in the style of, where the witchcraft was, or no, may have been Hamlet. I thought that was Macbeth, but where they made the styles like in sort of the cultural, I want to say not voodoo, but like in that. We had
our witches like that in our grad school production of it. Justin America directed it, and it was set in the antebellum South, and there was some race stuff in it. And
we say Lady A South now. Okay.
Lady A.
Oh yeah, right. I apologies. I don't want any lawsuits on copywriting. Yeah, no, but it was yeah. There were some things about it, but I played Lady Macduff in this one and one of the witches, and we like learned some African dance and stuff like that for it. Like that. Anyway, so you would have really liked it.
I might like that. Yeah,
you would have liked it.
Would you do a Shakespeare? Would you do a Shakespeare movie, Aaron?
You're talking to me?
Yeah.
Adapting a Shakespeare story, you could do in something. I don't know what style you would do it in, but the stories he had were awesome. So I'd like the Shrew, for example. You could do the Shrew. You could figure that one out and do something great with it, right? I see. I immediately think a horror movie. Yeah, they did do that already, didn't they?
Yeah, and like Lion King.
They've all been done, okay.
That's true.
Well, that's the other thing when you say they're not for us. I'm like, these stories are like being told over and over again in so many ways. Like,
yeah.
Like, you don't have to like it. I'm just saying, Silas.
Would you rewrite? I guess, would you like, if I was like, okay, I want you to do Julius Caesar, would you want to rewrite it, or would you want to use the dialogue?
Well, didn't Sons of Anarchy do that one? Which one did Sons of Anarchy do?
No, whatever.
I need to watch it. I still haven't seen that.
Merry Wives of Windsor, okay? Merry Wives of Windsor. Would you want to keep the dialogue, or would you want to, do you think you would rewrite it?
I would probably modernize it, yeah.
Okay.
More than likely I would. And that would just be for everyone who, the broader audience that it doesn't understand the terminology that Shakespeare spits, per se. Yeah. Right.
I'm now trying to picture like Hamilton version of Shakespeare. Like, I want to see them.
I love that.
I don't know how, but like, I don't know. I just want, what's his name, to make, if he did a Shakespeare.
Yeah, Lin-Manuel, if you're listening, please think of us.
Yeah.
And put us in it.
What's the one with the body under the floor? What's that one?
Under the Floor?
No, that's Poe. Never mind.
That's Poe.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
See, that's a story. I love that one too.
Ooh.
Shakespeare.
The Telltale Heart.
Telltale Heart. Thank you. That's the one. Appreciate you. Good job.
Thank you.
So is your so you stumbled on Black Noir, but what's your genre? Like, is there a genre you like the most right now?
Yeah, I do like sci-fi and horror and action. I mean, I like them all, those three. It depends on what mood I'm in, but if I had to pick a genre, I'm more of an action guy. I like those stories. I like the heroes I really adore the hero. I don't care if they're men, women, doesn't matter, kids. It doesn't matter if there's a hero in it and they got to go through something. I find those stories so horror is the same way, but there's so much like there's so many analogies, so many things. Like I remember watching Rain. What's the one with Christian Bale and Matthew McConaughey? My man crush, by the way. I love that guy. When they're fighting the dragons.
All right. Were there what?
The dragons when they're fighting the Rain of Fire. You remember that movie?
I haven't seen that one.
Oh, wow.
You remember that movie?
That was a while ago.
Whoa,
Yeah.
I should watch it because those two are great.
Oh,
Rain of Fire?
Yeah, Rain of Fire. It's modernized with dragons. And there's a shot in there of Christian Bale facing that dragon. I've never forgot it. And I just remember when I'm watching that movie, I just go, okay, that's everybody's worst fear in front of them. And he looks so small compared to this dragon in front of him. And I just thought about how we are as people in life when we're afraid, like we were talking about earlier with fear. You know, that's how big fear can look. And you got to face it, right? And that's what I saw when I watched this movie. Complete action movie, right? Totally battling this dragon and they're flying around and blowing shit up. But I'm looking at it in such deep levels where I'm like, dude, there's so much here that people are missing. Or are they? Or am I making that up? I don't know. But I love that stuff so much when it comes to action movies. I just love them, adore them. I was watching The Dark Knight the other day and I'm bawling, crying, watching that movie.
Which part?
Alfred's parts kill me. With Michael Caine, when he's talking about Batman. Yes.
I won't want to.
I won't want to, right? Yeah. Or when he tells her Batman was he's being more. He's not being a hero. He's being something more. And you're like, holy crap! What's more than a fucking hero? You know what I mean? And I'm bawling from this performance. It's things like that in those heroic, action movies that just they thrill me. I am those people when I watch it. Am I crazy? Or do you guys
No, I love it. No, okay. This is like it's just all of it. It's just yes to this whole podcast experience. Especially today. Yeah, but and you got me thinking the Maggie Gyllenhaal one.
Oh, yes.
It's not who you are inside, but your actions.
Yeah.
Or something like that for who
it's not what you are underneath, but what you do. That defines you.
Yeah.
You know what? Yep. I think ultimately that's why I got mad at that movie too that I watched. Is I just want every movie to have that one moment, that one line that has like a standout. Because I'm like, is it that hard? You made it this far to make a feature, right?
Yes.
Like,
yes, it is that hard.
You say the line, that moment that we go like.
That gives you goosebumps where your hair stands up. Yeah, and you get the chills.
I could go like, well, the movie was bad, except there's that one scene.
There's that one part.
But some probably tween is watching it and just it's rocking her world right now. Maybe she's seeing the dragon fire.
It inspires
on that
her.
blind date. It's helping her.
Maybe.
Maybe. I don't know, but like that thing, we can all watch the same movie and have totally different experiences based on our perspective or where we are in life or our mood or what we're looking for, X, Y, and Z.
That's the weirdest thing too. Yeah.
Question for both of you. Is the experience of watching a movie at home, can you make that happen now? Is it the same as going to a movie theater? Can you make that happen at home?
Absolutely.
Yeah?
Yep.
I find it. Oh, sorry.
Oh, no, you're good. Go ahead.
I do not find it to be the same. But I also find it extremely enjoyable. Like most of the movies I watch are at home. Like I wasn't going to the theater all the time anyway, but like going to the theater experience is another experience, Right. I'm in a new space. There's other people there as well. The smells of popcorn, the screen is huge. It's different.
It is different.
When somebody tells me they're like, well, I've got a 65-inch TV. That's the same as being in the theater. And I'm always like, really? Well, tell me about your sound system. How's that?
Right. I'm like, what small ass theater have you been going to?
Well, for me, I have never been at home and been able to completely forget everything else except the story I'm watching. Except in a movie theater. And yeah,
Right.
sometimes there's somebody talking, and I'm so mad because for me it is like then I get why people feel disrespect at church, right? Like I'm like, you're in my temple right now. Let me enjoy this. Be quiet. If you want to eat popcorn, I'm okay. Like, but like I get swept up, and even like even a weak film to me, like just because I'm in the theater, it's probably a B right there. Like it's so much funnier, it's bigger, like it's so much more interesting in a theater. And I'm like, I hear people like today I was reading that from somebody who was like, no, because I'll pay $30 to watch it at home because when I go out, I have to spend all the ticket money, plus you got to get concessions, plus you got to do this, and then you go there, and then people kicking me, and I'm like, I feel like you're speaking a different language because I love it so much.
Right.
I
love sitting in that theater.
I do find it to be a treat. And, not all theaters are created equally, too. So there's also that. But I find I can be completely absorbed in the movie at home. So that part of the experience is not different. Like how much I will get invested in it.
It might speak to my mild ADD or something, that if I'm at home, I have other things on my mind that I got to take care of. But I think if I'm allowed to separate, then I can just like relax and watch this movie.
I mean, that makes sense. And it does still kick it up a little notch in the theater. I will say, though, I will be more critical if I'm in the theater than if I just watch it at home. Because if I get a movie just off of Netflix or whatever, I'm already paying for the subscription. Okay, cool, whatever. What? I'm having to pay my dollars to go sit in the theater? The theater? Like, I'm going to be more critical of saying, do I feel that I really needed to sit in the theater for this, or should I have waited until it was out on Netflix or get it on Redbox? Right.
See, there's certain films to me that a theater experience is necessary. You go see a Star Wars film or Jurassic Park or, one of the Marvel movies, DC movies, any of those things, totally get it. Go to the theater to watch those. But if you're going there to watch a Jim Carrey movie, it's kind of, you can watch Liar Liar at home. And in fact, it's better at home because everybody's laughing so loud you can't hear the next line. You know what I mean? So it depends. But I get your point, too, about being at home. I hate the fact that when you're at home, you're watching it and it's an hour and 45-minute movie and it took you 3 hours to watch it because you're at home. The phone's ringing. Kids are running around. You got to get something out of the kitchen. You got to go to the bathroom. In the theater, you'd never go to the bathroom. You're going to hold that shit. Right.
And that's why I don't watch as many movies as I would like, because I won't watch it if I'm going to get interrupted by people.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I'd wait till people go to bed or whatever. Like, I'm not doing Look, I make a lot of concessions now because the only way I can get my wife to watch a movie, I have to let things happen. But like, I have very much been no, there's no pausing this to go. I can't do that in a play, right? No, you just, I'm going to watch this and you're going to sit here and enjoy this with me. Can't leave for an hour and a half. Okay.
I got you.
We're running.
Man.
We're running really late.
Oh,
really late.
okay.
Guys.
Can I have
okay.
to say
Yeah.
the one though, hands down, theater experience, different midnight showings. I love midnight showings. Like if the movie is, anyway, because it's like the super fans, and then you feel like you're with a bunch of your friends from the dorms or something. And like, I don't know any of these people except for the few I came with, but it's just like,
Yeah, no, I totally agree.
Great feeling.
So fun.
Yep, totally.
Okay, Aaron.
Yes, sir.
First time someone comes on, we have 7 questions that we ask. And so here's the 7 questions for Aaron Carlson. What are you most nerdy about?
Storytelling. Absolutely, it's storytelling. Digging in there, figuring each and every character out, the world I'm creating, the plot holes that I got to figure out, the character arcs. Doesn't matter. I nerd out on that stuff. I disappear for hours and you wouldn't see me anymore. Done deal.
What's something that you love to eat?
We're talking about food, right? I'm just kidding. I'm sorry. Don't laugh too hard. You know that was funny. I love a good steak. I love steak. I'm a steak guy. Okay.
What's something that you love to drink?
We're talking about food, right? Spot on impression.
I would say soda. I'm a soda guy to this day. I love soda. What are you drinking? You got soda there?
Coke or Pepsi?
I'm a Coke guy. I like the burn better than the sweet. Yeah. So Coca-Cola all day long.
Okay.
It's just water.
Oh, okay. That's good too, though. It's good for you.
What kind of music do you love?
80s music. Anything 80s.
Okay.
Love it. Absolutely adore it.
What do you love to create?
Well, I hate to say stories again, but that's one of the passions I have. I love creating films. I do love those. To see it all come together visually, the story that I wrote that was in my head come out and people can experience that. That's a feeling that you can't even describe when you get a crowd of people in a theater watching something that you thought of, in your house alone, laying in bed, trying to go to sleep. And you've got these images in your head and now people are paid to come watch it. It's awesome.
What's a game you love to play?
I'm still a gamer, but my favorite game would be Metal Gear Solid.
Huh?
Hideo Kojima, my man.
And last question. In 100 years, when someone reads your biography, what do you want to be remembered for?
Oh, man. Inspiring people to face their fears. To know that no matter what the obstacles are, they can overcome them. That not everything is as impossible as people make it seem. That if I can help anybody to realize that by proving it on my own one day, that would be cool. I'd be all right with that.
All right. Aaron Carlson, thank you for coming on.
It's a pleasure, my friend. Thank you.
The Outrider, we can catch that on Amazon Prime, correct?
That is correct.
Or even if you don't have Prime, right? You can just go and pay for it, right?
Yeah, you can rent it. You can buy it, rent it, either way you want. Yeah, and it's on a couple other streaming platforms now and more to come. So if you got a Roku, you could find it on some of those free movie ad-based apps that are on there as well. But,
And you also have a new podcast out,
Yes,
right?
sir. Yeah.
What's the name of that?
That is called Around the Reel, and we discuss. We're trying to do exactly what we're talking about, helping creatives overcome the real world, to step outside that box and try to find a way to follow your passion and your dream. And we talk a bunch of shit too about everything that's going on the planet. So.
And you can get that on Apple Podcasts. So
Apple Podcasts,
go ahead,
Spotify, all that
subscribe
stuff.
there.
Thank you, sir.
When you're going to Black and a Half to subscribe to that, you can go over and get Reel to Reel. Wait, no.
Around the Reel.
Around the Reel. Around the Reel. It was like this different. Do those, rate them, and yeah, thanks for coming on.
Thank you, man. Thank you, Samantha.
Thank you.
All right, stay black. Stay black and half.
All right.
Live long and prosper and prosper and prosper.